Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Donnie Corleone, all right? Security officer of American Muscle Security LLC, chief security officer. Also, forensics officer, self-employed, independent contractor. I do digital forensics. I just do forensics in general, forensics photography, forensics for life, all right? AKA the artist that a lot of you know as Prince Rao, all right, aka the MC Cop, aka DJ Special Police Officer, Mafia the Boss, Jersey the Compton. I got so many aliases. Your favorite rapper's favorite bodyguard. Um, Here to do a breakdown and an unpackaging of the song that I recorded last night, DDC. That's just fucking hilarious to me. Donnie Don't Care. All right. So let's talk about Donnie Don't Care real quick. So basically, it's just really like a joke. Like I'm laughing at the idea of the how do you say the smoke and mirrors that aren't just the music industry, but just people's lives in general, right? So the hook starts off, well, before the hook comes in, I begin the song by saying, you do you, handle your business, and I'm gonna do me, right? So I'm basically talking to just some random female, right? And the general idea is I'm talking to a female who is worried about the fact that if she dates me, or if she associates with me, or if she even, trusts me, then she might be a liability to herself because, like, I might arrest her or something, or, in reality, here's the thing, like, the hook comes in like, bitch, you're fucking dizzy. And I forget how it goes after that because I'm not reading it right now off of, I write this shit on my phone, so I'm recording this right now so I can't read it. But bitch, you're fucking dizzy. You're schizophrenic. Go ahead, handle your business. And I'm like basically telling her you sniff, and I'm okay with it. You know what I'm saying? So basically, I'm not like, so this is where I have to explain. Because some people might listen to the song and think that I'm condoning people's drugs uses. Like basically, if you have a coke habit, I'm condoning this shit. Nah, that's totally not the case. I don't condone the use of narcotics. I really don't. If I condone anything, and I literally do, I do condone recreational marijuana use if if you in its rightful context. So as long as you smoke marijuana where it's not a liability to me, so as long as you don't do it in my house or my car, I'm happy for you. I'm really happy for you because it's going to help you out. I feel like marijuana helps out a lot of people. But here's the thin line between your life and my life. All right? Pause. People are more followers than they are leaders, number one. People are more groupies, number two, rather than being individuals. And what do I mean by that? I mean, if somebody's gonna do something, even if it's not drug use, right? Even if it's not smoking a blunt, anything, not just these days, just, since Jesus was here, there's a lot of people that do have dreams. There's a lot of people that have goals, ambition. There's a lot of people that know, hey man, right now the sun is shining. I better go out and get to that bag because nobody's gonna get to the bag and bring it home for me. There's a lot of people that they wanna do the right thing. But there's less people that are gonna do not only the right thing, but just anything at all. So most people live in fear. Not most. There's a lot of people that live in fear. Just Google it. And it's not fear of the rap game. It's not fear of the police. It's not fear of bullies. It's fear of anything and everything. Fear of success, fear of reaching their dreams, fear of themselves, fear of snakes, fear of arachnophobia, spiders, fear of being looked at as fat, ugly, dirty, or maybe too rich, too good, too this. You just, when you look up, okay, there's phobias and there's phrenias, and there's two different things. But there's a lot of different phobias and there's a lot of different phrenias, and there's a lot of people that have those things, right? Now, one thing that you notice about people that are leaders, we don't have those things. Now, there's a lot of that we can escape when it comes to the public perception of who we are. Not cops, just leaders, all right? Okay, cops do fall under this category, believe, but just leaders that anybody can relate to. And most people, believe it or not, don't like leaders unless they're a diehard fan. If you really identify, you really want to be that person, or you look up to them, you like a leader. The only time people really like leaders is when they have money and they give it away to people, because people want to be leaders. They want to be leaders, but they usually only identify with the leader that they really like. They don't identify with all leaders, but they'll say, all right, yeah, he's a, I'll give it to him or her. This person, at least they have the balls to go out and do what they want to do. At least they made it, or at least they're successful. But there's always a catch. But they're still an asshole, or she's still conceited. She still thinks she's a sis. You know what I'm saying? So these are the reasons why people are really afraid to be successful, because people don't want to be criticized. But no matter what, that's the one thing before you cross the threshold of being successful, you realize is, I am going to be criticized. And unfortunately, in reality, sometimes the harshest criticism comes from your own friends and family. It comes from the closest people to you. That's why successful people always tell you, watch the people that are close to you. That's one. Make sure they do what they're supposed to do. That's two. Because you never know when they're thinking about smoking you. That's three. It's never personal. Nowadays, that's just the way. Okay? Even we know that, right? So here's the thing. This song is fucking funny. Bitch, you're fucking dizzy. You're schizophrenic. It's cool. I'm okay with it. You sniff and I don't give a shit about your business. So what am I really saying in that song? I'm saying what any guy says. And every guy says. Now listen to this. Picture this real quick. All right? Just picture this. You're a guy. You're with your other friends that are guys. You're at the mall and you see a female, right? Everybody's like, damn, she looks good. Everybody that has, that's not an invert says that. Everybody that has male energy running through their body, and it reaches their brain to the point that it reaches their voice box, and they don't have a frog in their throat. Because some people got frogs in their throat. Like, there's a lot of reasons. Like, number one, they're small, and the guy next to them is 3 times bigger than them. Okay. He could squat 3 times more weight than you. He could bench press 3 times more weight than you. He could curl a dumbbell 3 times more bigger than yours. He has 3 times more money than you. You think he's 3 times more good looking than you. And that's a problem. Okay? So you're not going to, it's just a frog in your throat. Or, maybe he's not there, but the economy is 3 times more harder for you. Not everybody, but for you, than it has been for everybody else. Okay? You're 3 times more depressed than you usually have been. You've been doing 3 times less than whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's a frog in your throat because you're scared. So you're not gonna say what you're really thinking. Your knees are gonna be, reflecting that you likey. Okay? but your voice is not going to say you're Mikey. Okay? So you get it. But everybody else, oh man, damn, she looks good. You're going to look around, see if there's anybody that's ready to, frown upon you for saying what you're about to say, or put you in a headlock and give you a noogie and say, McFly. Biff says no. That's Biff's. That's not you, McFly. That belongs to Biff. Okay? We live in this kind of world. And it's always been like that. Even way before Corona, pandemic, whatever, before AIDS, before crack came out, before heroin in the 70s, in the 20s when people were dancing like this. You know what I mean? It's always been like that. You know what I mean? There's always been a time where survival was limited for most guys' genes, and that was during the Great Depression. During the Great Depression, the same thing that's going on right now was going on back then. Times was hard. Nobody had a job. So men had to turn into a civilized form of animal and go out and figure out how to get money and bring it back to the crib. And chicks suddenly stopped dating everybody, all right? And realized, holy shit, there's a Great Depression. Where the fuck am I going to get my 8-ball? Where am I going to get my coke to put in my nose? Where am I going to get a needle to put in my vein? Where am I going to get my drugs? Because I got all these problems, and if I don't do drugs, I'm going to go crazy. So the same thing chicks are saying now, whether they're saying it out loud or underneath their breath, they were saying back in the Great Depression. I got to find a hunk, right? Who can either, and you know how women are. You know how women are. I hate to tell you, you know how women are, or you may likey, but you're not Mikey, okay? It's just one or the other. And unfortunately, there's a lot of guys that really don't know this, but this is the reason why. I'm about to explain to you. A lot of guys don't reach the level to become educationers. In other words, teachers. They don't become elementary teachers because they don't overstand the students. They understand them, but they don't overstand them. They don't know, I know what's behind all of this. I know what it is. Okay. You know what I'm saying? They don't become doctors, okay? Because they can analyze the problem, maybe know it might have something to do with it. Most guys like, Doc, something's wrong with my wife. What's wrong with I get it. Chill out, B. Calm down. Man, tell me what's going on. What's the problem? All right, so listen. Mr. Doolittle, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to leave, and I'm going to need to talk to your wife in private. Are you sure? Honey, is it okay? Yeah. It's okay. He leaves the office. He gets called back into the office. She's not crying anymore, okay? The doctor either gave her the dick or she confessed, please, 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 and he eventually gave her a script, okay? When it comes to addicts, that's just the way it is, right? I'm just keeping it 100% seals with you. There's only two things that can make a female addict calm down and not do something crazier, all right? A script or the dick. Or she's going to do something crazier. She's either going to go to and this is just literally the way it is. And real guys know this. And we don't just know this. This is a overriding theme that is constantly in our brain above all the bullshit that we know we have to embrace when it comes to dealing with our women or any woman that's going to be in our life. That's just the way it is. Other guys wonder because this is what happens to some of you simps. And I'm telling you this from experience because I used to be a simp. I really used to be that guy that likey, but he wasn't Mikey. Now I'm Mikey. Even though it's Donnie, it's Prince, it's whatever. I'm like, I got the mentality of Mikey. And what is Mikey? Mikey is the guy that does it, right? Mikey's the guy that gets it done. Mikey likes it. And everybody knows it. Mikey's proud of it. You know what I'm saying. All right? So what I'm saying is, what did Jay-Z say the best? Women lie, men lie. Numbers don't lie. Women lie, men lie, numbers don't lie. What's the truth about what I'm saying? In life, we as just regular guys, whether you consider me a regular guy, I'm not, I'm a regular guy, right? We know this true thing. It's not just behind every bad girl is a bad boy. We know that already. The other guys don't know what that means. What that means is, if your girlfriend looks good, and believe it or not, even if your chick does not look good, here's the reality. It's, and I'm not explaining this for people that already know. This is going to be kind of a long one. This one's probably going to be like an hour-long video, so get your popcorn, all right? Get your tapes. Donnie's on. It's Donnie talk time, all right? So, here's the reality. It's easier for women to have sex with guys, or it's easier for women to get sex than it is for guys to get sex. Women are more of a commodity when it comes to sex to the opposite gender than guys are a commodity to females. And some people are like, I don't get that. And this is the reason why. Not only your major is not psychology. These type of people that don't get this don't understand the basics in chemistry, the birds and the bees. Okay? Bullfrogs and butterflies and why they all been born again. Okay? Women have a hole, number one. That's not a diss, that's reality. Women have a shape that's irresistible to men, okay? Men are always thinking of what they're gonna do with themselves. We have this thing that gets us in trouble, okay, called an exclamation mark. Whether most of the day it's in the shape of an exclamation mark or it's in the shape of a question mark is irrelevant. What's relevant is it has this attractive pull, or you're screwed, right? But this magnetic pull usually gets a lot of men in trouble. And that hole, it actually has an opposite pull. It has polarity. A lot of people don't know it, but it's the reason why you get a hard-on in general. So a lot of guys, they're thinking that these super drugs, steroids, whatever you want to call them, are the cause of you getting an erection because they're magic pills. No, that's not at all what it is. What they actually do is they help you in a way that you could help yourself if you just exercised more. Stopped smoking cigarettes. That's number one. And got better circulation. The reason why a lot of guys don't get an erection is because you have poor circulation. And what causes guys to have better circulation? Get off your fucking ass. Seriously, ask any doctor or take a fucking health class. When you sit on your ass all day waiting for a boner, it escapes you. But when you're out on your feet, standing on your feet all day, you're not purposely not getting a boner, but you're sacrificing the fact that you're not going to be able to look at your phone all day. So you're going to miss out on a few. You're going to see natural women, right? And it's like women in passing, right? And you're going to be turned on by it. Like it's a balance. As long as you're not like out there, like you drop your shovel if you're supposed to be doing construction work, and your tongue drops and you go chasing them where you're this close, like that, like Helga on Hey Arnold. You're not going to get fired from your job, and you're not going to get arrested by the police. You know what I mean? You take notice, Maybe you flirt. Maybe you say, hey, after work, you know what I'm saying? I get off, whatever. You know what I'm saying? How would you like a bite to eat? Sure, I'll trade if your boss is a call if I get a number. Yeah, go ahead. We got a lot of work to do. Don't make it all day. That's when you know you got a cool boss, right? You give her the number and, you pick her up and she's happy to get in your car and go to the movies or whatever you do. As long as when she sits her ass in the car, you know how women do. But I have to explain this to the little guys that don't remember how to get a female. The first thing they're going to sit in your car. First thing they do, they're going to look in your car. Does his car look like he lives out of it? Okay? If they're a woman that got respect for themselves, they're not going to ride with you if it looks like you live in your car. If you live in your car in general, they're not going to get in it because they're going to already hear on the street that you live in your car. But even if you've been living in your car and you're fixing your life and you stop living in your car more recently than before, they're going to know about it and they're going to give you a chance if they want to give you a chance for whatever reason that is. Okay? For whatever reason that is. Okay? Let's just be real with each other, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Women date us for survival. Love really has shit to do with it. You know what I mean? They date us for survival. Love rarely has shit to do with it. Now, does it mean they're not looking for love? No, it means that they are. But they're real with themselves and they're mostly looking for security and camaraderie. Okay? But I'll get to that part. I'm not there yet. So they look and see if you live. Is there any like clothes everywhere? No, okay. Like, cause the thinking, cause if there is, there might be bugs in there. There might be rats that might crawl out of the pocket of your flannel. The one that looks like Anthony Kiedis's flannel or Kurt Cobain's flannel from the 80s, right? Does it smell? They're gonna sit down and smell. Because if it does, when they sit down, their dress is gonna smell when they get out of the car. Like your car, that's never a plus, right? Does your car have an air conditioner? All right, is what if it's summer, right? Even if it's nighttime, you know what I mean? Because it's nighttime, the first thing they're gonna do is roll down the window. But there's always a chance that when they turn the wheel, right? The wheels of your car window are gonna keep on turning, right? But the window's not gonna go anywhere. And why do women have these things in the back of their head? McFly, are you sleeping? I'm lecturing you. You're supposed to be learning about manhood right now. McFly, wake up. You up? Ah, shit. I'm trying to grow some hair in your chest, man. I know I sound like Biff, but it's your dad. You're my son. I gotta son you right now. You forgot, man. Like, I don't know what this pandemic did to you, but you know what I'm saying? People are dying that never died before. I don't want that to happen to you, son. All right? You good? All right. Bring it in. My son. You're still good. All right. I just wanted to let you know I've been talking like this before the 90s, son. All right? You forgot because I've been smoking cigarettes and I quit and the frog came out of my throat. Yeah, frog in my throat right now? All right. Then you know I'm being 100 with you because I haven't been smoking cigarettes. All right, now listen though, seriously. Survival. Shit like this happened to them before, right? All right, so, they've been in cars where the window doesn't roll down. They've been in situations. They read the signs. They really look for things to go bad more than things are going to go good, okay? Number one. All right? But all these things will get you a date. But let's bring it back, though, all right? These drugs, they don't really help you all like that. It's just a waste of money where the doctor's making money, the pharmacies are making money, and you're Superman for 5 seconds. You could fly, and then you crash. B, all you need to do is exercise, right? And drink water and cool the fuck out. It's very easy. A lot of guys spend way too many hours in the direct sunlight instead of being in the shade and not just drinking lemonade, drinking anything, okay? When there's no water in your dick, the shit ain't brick. When your shit ain't brick, there's no water in your dick. So water your plant, and there you go. You'll be like me, the Arnold. You know? There it is. All right? That shit may be, vroom, a jump start. But you ever notice, like a motorcycle, how you gotta do certain things to keep that shit going? Some of you guys don't know because you don't ride motorcycles. I build motorcycles. I don't ride motorcycles. But I know enough about them that I could ride them if I want to, because I got chop shops all over the world. They're not really chop shops. I got garages, right? Part of my political incorrectness, all right? Part of my etiquette, right? I got garages all over the world where some of my guys, they got like a motorcycle bike seat in one garage. The other guy got motorcycle handlebars in the other garage. The other guy got a motorcycle muffler in the other garage. It's, you know, I don't put it together. The other guy got a wheel over here, a wheel over there. And then when I'm ready, you know, I bring it all together and put it all together real fun. Zoom, 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 and then I got a motorcycle. I don't keep it all together in one spot, because if I did, then somebody would sabotage my habitat just for my motorcycle. You guys are from the streets, right? So I didn't need to say all that? All right, cool. You know the routine. You're probably doing the same thing. You are doing the same thing. All right? We call them storage units these days. Anyhow, so did you write that down? For all the people out there that want a new motorcycle, they're called storage units these days, okay? You can find mine in parts, different ones, maybe here and there, and you can find everybody else's there. So welcome to the storage wars. They're called storage units these days. None of us care. All right. But, you know, that's the reality. You know what I'm saying? But let's get back to the song real quick. You know, behind every bad girl is a bad guy. What does that mean? There's a guy that she's been fucking. So you meet a girl. You're in the mall, again, creating a scenario. You're what you got. Oh, damn, she looks good. So the leader of the pack is the first person, like, you know, yo, I'm going to get her number. So if you live by man code and not the code of the street, you're a regular guy, you know. You're like a working man, right? Picture that. Like, you know, some of you guys don't. Give me an example. What's a working man? I don't know what it, because it's not because they don't know. I just got to jog your memory, because TV, the internet, doesn't celebrate the working men like it used to. You know what I'm saying? It's all about being, you know, some kid who is a law student, right? But decides to go to the streets. You know what I mean? You see that in a lot of themes, whether it's like Empire or Power or whatever. And they're great TV shows. I love those TV shows. I support them all the way. But unfortunately, the narrative, not just in black movies, but even in white movies. Look at Tony Montana. How popular would Scarface have been if Tony and Manolo would have just kept working at that restaurant and got and just saved their money, got their own crib, and just stayed in Miami and just got fly bitches and just kicked it and were cool with each other? It wouldn't be as exciting, you know, because people lack patience. They want a quick answer to the top. And that's why a lot of people rush to become coke dealers, and a lot of people get shot in the process and die. It's not a game for everybody. It's really not a game for anybody. It's how you die real fast. That's just the way it is. You know, some people, you can't make a dog have a brain as a human. The brain is always going to be the size of a dog, and that's why they live a bug's life. Anyhow, it's a cop joke. You wouldn't understand. So, you know, the leader of the pack, if you live by man code, again, what's a working man? Back when there was cable TV, before internet became a TV, you had shows like Friends, where Monica, Chandler, Phoebes, Joey, the guys on the show, those were working men. It wasn't because they're white. It's because they had an apartment and they had food in their fridge. and the women came to them. They didn't have to go to the women. Now, guaranteed, they had women problems, but it wasn't big as problems as, like the guys that you see on Power, right? Like you see, they have women for a minute, but what kind of women are there? They're women that stay in the trap all day and end up dying. Real shit. Phoebes and Monica, they usually live a long life. It's not because they're white. It's because they're working women. Where does Phoebes work at? Phoebes works at a diner. She's a waitress. She's not a trap queen. She hates her job, but she looks at the reality. It's okay to have a problem with drugs. You struggle with it. Sometimes you get out of that life. Sometimes you don't. But whether you do or you don't, it's better to be a consumer than to be a provider when it comes to drugs. Because when you're a provider, especially narcotics, you die or you go to jail for life. It's fun while it lasts, but when you look back at it, you're always looking back at it like Ray Liotta when it's too late. Coked up. Like Ray Liotta, he looked exactly like Tony did in the last scene, minus all the guns. And in reality is it ends up more like Ray Liotta's character in that movie. You know which one I'm talking about. The one where, I don't know if it was Casino or whatever the movie where they did the bad thing. Okay? So either, the cops get on to you, all right? The FBI gets involved, all right? And, you every time you see a helicopter, you're paranoid and you're pushing more coke up your nose and you're thinking it's going to keep you calm. It doesn't work anymore. That's the reality of cocaine. See, in the beginning, and I know this from studying this shit, all right? I never done this shit, all right? Cocaine in the beginning, it keeps you calm. That's what it does. But it's like weed. Weed keeps you calm. Cocaine keeps you really, really, it gives you a real high because you're calm, because you think that anything achievable is achievable. Like it's no holds barred. Like, oh shit, it gives you the ability to do shit without being nervous, but it stops working. It backfires on you. And then you become really, really super fucking nervous. Like anything. All right? Long story short, working men. I'll give you another example. Seinfeld, Frasier, all those shows. Even think about George Jefferson, the Jeffersons. What did George Jefferson do? A lot of people don't know, but he always had on a suit and he always came home to Wheezy. And Wheezy was a wife married to a working man. She was a stay-at-home wife and she was happy to. A lot of guys don't want a woman like that. Well, not a lot, but losers don't want a woman like that. That's a problem because they're out here. They ain't hard to find. But again, you're not the only one that can find them, right? So even if you get a woman like Wheezy, right? You're still going to have to work to keep her because, listen, there was somebody fucking her before you. As tight as she been keeping it, there was somebody fucking her before you. And when you go to work, there might be somebody fucking her while you're fucking her. And when you leave her, there's always going to be somebody fucking her because the reality is, this is a dad-son conversation. And I'm not even talking to my son. When I say son, I'm just joking. I'm talking to my friend McFly. It's a joke, His real name is not McFly, but for integrity's sake, I just say that, all right? McFly could be anybody to me. It's just running jokes, one of my friends, right? But I'm talking to all you because you're all my sons, all right? The reality is, and I have to tell myself this and remind myself this sometimes, because it's really a joke. Like, we're really good liars, us guys, a lot of times. And, you have to tell some guys this because you're a guy and you think, not even just that, when you go a long time without having somebody to trust, nobody really has to work hard to get your trust. Eventually what happens is you end up trusting somebody who you really shouldn't. because you're tired of keeping your guard up. So eventually you let your guard down and you well, maybe if I just let this one person in because they sound like they could be legit. You know what I'm saying? And all it is people peep your algorithm. They listen to you talk about the things that you mostly distrust. They listen to you talk, and they also pick out the things that you potentially could trust. So they just figure out a way to weave your way in your system. And they're a glitch in the matrix. You don't peep it because it's like a boxer fighting and you're in the 8th round and your guard been up the whole time and you make a mistake. You put your guard down instead of beginning to swing. Okay? A lot of people don't understand that. When your guard comes down, that's when you're supposed to start swinging. That doesn't mean attack people. That means take a more proactive approach towards life in general when it comes to not boxing. When it comes to boxing, that does mean attack people. All right? In the ring. So, I'll give you an example. You're like, damn, he's taking this all different types of way. I'm a guy. We don't have time to explain everything to you to be a nanny. So we do this. If you ever had a guy that's a jack of all trades, all right? That's a friend. So when you're boxing, you either come in the ring, you come out swinging, all right? So your arms are going to be up first. But, you know, your arms are also going to go down sooner than later, all right? So the other guy, you're like, well, he's swinging, so I might as well just block and dodge, because you're not going to just dodge, because he's eventually going to hit you with something. If he doesn't hit you with the right, as soon as you come back, he's going to hit you with the left. You know what I mean? So you're keeping your guard up the whole time. And you could do this because you do stuff like this, you know, to exercise those. You know, you do stuff like, even when you're not holding weights, you keep your arms in the air and slowly let them down and then bring them up. You're exercising that. You can't keep your guard. You can't keep your guard up in a fight if you're not exercising those. I don't care how you do it. I don't care how stupid you look at like when you do it. I do it in public. I don't care. I do this all the time in public, even when I have no weights. You know what I mean? Because I know I'm going to keep my guard up because I know how, right? But eventually it comes down. And that's when your boxing coach is going to say, okay, now I'm going to teach you the jab and the uppercut, okay? Because that's not the time when you do the straight shots, right? You do that last, right? Pardon me. I'm going to teach you the hook and the uppercut. So when you start coming down, you little by little, you don't use your whole arm. You turn and you do it like that. And then you keep your guard up because he's coming back. He's going to clap back, okay? And drop it. You're like, I don't get it. You're not understanding me, man. Let me explain. When you're coming down like this, right? You jab with this hand, you come in like that. You know what I'm saying? So really the whole time when you're boxing, your arms aren't equilateral like that all the time. Sometimes this arm is up more than that, and sometimes it's like that. So that's just life. You know what I mean? You're like, you know, I don't get it. You never talk to a guy. All right? Maybe you talk to a guy that can only do one thing, but I'm teaching you a couple things at the same time. So generally, women fuck other guys. Women fuck other guys. And they keep a lot of secrets. You know what I mean? Oh, yo, I met this chick, man. She looks like she's going to keep it real with me. You know, when somebody says keep it real with them, what they usually mean, especially if they're a guy, is somebody that's going to tell me everything. How the fuck is that keeping it real with you? That's not keeping it real with you, son. That's being devoted to you. Okay? More than themselves. And you don't necessarily need somebody to do all of that. I don't need somebody to do all that for me to keep me secure. But a lot of times, psychologically, that causes people to feel like this is somebody that's going to be loyal to me because they trust me with a lot of information. When somebody comes up to you and they're giving you a lot of information, whether it's true or false, right? You feel trustable, like, oh, this person they're looking at me like a shoulder to lean on, right? They trust me. They're coming to me because they're hurt and I'm the strength. And I'm making them feel better. So they're always going to be up under me. And that's a problem. As guys, sometimes we want females to be up under us all the time. And even the toughest guys like me, right? Sometimes you start off tough and then you end up becoming addicted to the pussy or addicted to their presence. And then when they leave or they're looking at another guy or another guy's looking at them, that's when we start acting like simps. Even the toughest of us. So there may be times when you see me and you're like, damn, man, he gave me all that solid advice and that was good advice, but look at him. It looks like he's not even taking his advice. Guess what? That's life. That, believe it or not, that's all of us. You know, it's just you're